Hi all, here's a quick set of slides on exercise 4C, which is about finding the rule of linear relationships. So that's using y equals mx plus c. Now, heads up, most of these slides have instructions on them, audio instructions, and there are worked examples as well. So my suggestion to you is that before you click on to the next slide, you get to the end of each slide, it's a good idea to write down in your book what's been shown on the example. All right, here we go. Just a little reminder now of where the equation y equals mx plus c comes from. Okay, the c, most people remember, is the y-intercept. The m, again, that's the gradient. People remember those two. But for some reason, people forget where the x and the y come from. Now, that is simply an x and y coordinate, a point, any point on the line. Okay? All right, down to the nitty-gritty now, finding the gradient. You'll have to do this most of the time. Over on the left there, you can see the equation. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You probably remember this from last year. Unfortunately, I've done this on the iPad and it doesn't recognise subscripts. So, just underneath here, I'll write it as it should look. M equals y with a little 2 minus y with a little 1 over x2 minus x1. All right, make sure that's in your bound reference, please. Example. Finding the gradient of the line that passes through the points 0, 1 and 1, 3. All right, what we should do first, always, is underneath the 0, 1 and the 1, 3, write x, y and x, y. To decide which one's which doesn't actually matter. Okay, so I'm going to make the 0, 1, x1, y1 and the 1, 3, x2, y2. All we have to do now is simply substitute it in. So m equals, now the y2 is 3, take away the y1, which is 1, over x2, which is 1, take away 0. Therefore, we have 3 minus 1 is 2, over 1 minus 0 is 1. Therefore, I have a gradient of 2. Alrighty, now we're up to finding the rule. Now we've got two different equations on this one. The first one you've seen, the m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We did that on the last slide. Remember, there were 2's and 1's as subscripts. Now we have to introduce the second one down the bottom there on the left, which is y minus y1 equals m brackets x minus x1. We have to use a combination of these. All right, to the example. Find the rule for the equation of the line that passes through 2, negative 3 and 4, negative 11. All right, first things first, label what you've got. We've got the x1 and y1 under the 2 and negative 3, and we've got x2 and y2 under the 4, negative 11. All right, I didn't do this on the last slide. I probably should have. Rewrite the whole equation, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and substitute in. It just shows the teacher you know exactly what you're doing and what you're talking about. Okay, y2 is negative 11 minus y1 is negative 3 over x2 is 4 minus 2. Negative 11 minus negative, so it's a plus. Negative 11 plus 3 is negative 8 over 4 minus 2 is 2. So our gradient is negative 4. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. Okay, now we're going to use a second equation. For this one, you can see we need y1 and x1. Now it doesn't have to be the first point, it could be either point, but in this case, they're the smaller numbers, and personally I prefer using smaller numbers. So I'd write use 2, negative 3. Okay, write out the equation, y minus y1 equals m brackets x minus x1. Now to substitute. Y we're working out, well that's going to be the equation, minus y1. Now what is the y? Is negative 3. So y minus negative 3 equals m we just worked out, which is negative 4, brackets x minus our x1, which is 2. Okay, let's simplify that, get rid of that double negative. Y plus 3 equals, now, on the other side, we want to expand those brackets. So negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 2 is plus 8. Don't forget the negative, make positive. All right, all we need to do is get rid of that pesky 3 that's on the other side. And we're going to get rid of the plus 3, obviously we do a minus 3 on the other side. So we're left with y equals negative 4x. Now 8 minus 3 is just positive 5. And there we have our equation. And to finish off, we'll just do a couple of examples of questions that you might find in the book. All right, question number 1. Find the equation of a line that passes through 3, 2 and has a gradient of 2. So first thing you do, obviously, is write down what you know. Well, you know the gradient already, so that's m equals 2. And it goes through the point 3, 2. So your 3 is your x value, and the 2 is your y value. Now, if you remember back to the equation that we're going to use for that one, it is y minus y1 equals m brackets x minus x1. Okay, substitute in what you know. We know the y1, which is 2, so y minus 2 equals m is 2, which was given to you, brackets x minus 3. Okay, remembering, we've got the y minus 2 still there, equals, we have to expand the brackets, so that's 2x, 2 times x is 2x, minus 2 times 3, which is 6. Again, have to get rid of the negative 2 over near the y, so that becomes a plus 2 over there. So we're left with y equals 2x, negative 6 plus 2 is minus 4. There's the equation for number 1. Question number 2. It's very similar to the one we did on the other page. It's find the equation of a line that passes through 2 points. So you've got point 1, so x1 is 1, y1 is negative 2, and x2 is 3, and y2 is 2. Okay, first up, we have to find the gradient. So m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is y2 is 2 minus y1, which is minus negative 2, over x2 is 3 minus x1, which is 1. So rewrite that negative negative, get rid of that, so it becomes 2 plus 2 on top, over 3 minus 1 on the bottom, which is 4 over 2, which equals 2. That's the gradient. Again, same as the first question. Write out the y minus y1 equals m brackets x minus x1. Okay, which point are we going to use? This one I'm going to use point number 2, actually, because they're both positive numbers. So it's always easier to work with positive numbers. So you've got a choice to make between which point you use. So we'll substitute in. Make sure you write that when you're doing it, use 3, 2, so you know which point you're doing and you don't accidentally go across point. So y minus 2 equals, my gradient was 2, brackets x minus 3. Okay, y minus 2 equals, now expand the bracket, 2 times x is 2x, minus 2 times 3, which is 6. Okay, now we have to get rid of that negative 2, so that becomes a plus 2. So the equation is y equals 2x, negative 6 plus 2 is minus 4. Oh, would you believe that is exactly the same? I did not pick that up. That was luck, by the way. All right, time to get on to the exercises. Make sure you write down in your bound reference and write down as often as you can all the equations when you're doing all the questions. And believe it or not, it'll start sticking. Okay, good luck.